Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so have you ever stared at a Google Ads invoice for your organization and just wondered exactly how the massive charities afford to dominate the search results for literally every single donation keyword out there? Well, today we're uncovering a kind of quiet truth about how these big names operate. And the secret is, they actually aren't paying for those clicks out of their own pockets. They're using Google Ad grants. And the amazing thing is, you can too. Let's dive right into the playbook. Here's our agenda for today. We'll be covering the monthly gift, who qualifies, the 4 steps to apply, strict compliance rules, a reality check, and finally, the digital toolkit. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the $10,000 monthly gift. So this is Google's longest-running gift to the nonprofit sector, and it absolutely has the power to completely shift the balance for organizations working with tiny marketing budgets. If you've ever wondered how the bigger names just seem to be everywhere online, well, this is their playbook. When someone searches for things like Donate to Children's Hospital or Homeless Charity Manchester, organizations like Shelter, WWF, and Cancer Research UK get to show up at the very top of the page. They're using this grant to drive donations, recruit volunteers, and promote events without even touching their actual marketing budget. Now, the sheer scale of what's being offered here is just staggering. Eligible charities receive up to $10,000 a month in free Google search advertising. Depending on exchange rates, that's roughly £7,400 a month, or close to £90,000 a year. And you know what the best part is? The credit resets every single month. It's not a one-off thing. As long as you stay compliant, that funding just keeps flowing. Moving right along to Section 2, who qualifies for the grant? To get your foot in the door in the UK, you've got to hold a valid, recognized charitable status. That means being registered with the Charity Commission for England and Wales, OSCR in Scotland, CCNI in Northern Ireland, or HMRC for exempt charities. But there are strict exclusions we need to talk about. Community interest companies, or CICs, they're out. Government entities, standalone hospitals and schools are also excluded. However, here's a quick pro tip. While a hospital or school itself can apply, their linked philanthropic foundations usually can. Now, beyond just having the right legal status, you also need to meet Google's broader ecosystem rules. Your website needs to be secure, meaning it has that little HTTPS padlock up in the browser bar. Your site also needs to clearly explain your mission, and most importantly, it absolutely must drive users to take a meaningful action. Google doesn't just want to send traffic into a black hole. They want to see users donating, signing up to volunteer, or contacting your team. You also have to agree to Google's standard non-discrimination policies. Which brings us to Section 3. 4 steps to apply. So, you know what the grant is, and let's say you know you qualify. How do you actually get this funding into your account? Well, it's a pretty modern 4-step journey. Step 1 is getting verified by a partner called GoodStack, which usually takes between 3 and 14 working days. Step 2, once you're approved, you activate a Google for Nonprofits admin account. Step 3 is applying for the actual ad grant right inside that dashboard. And finally, Step 4 is building your very first compliant campaign, which requires specific structures like at least 2 ad groups and conversion tracking. The whole shebang typically takes between 7 and 21 working days if you've got your house in order. Now here's the catch in Section 4, the strict compliance rules. You see, getting the grant is one thing, but keeping it introduces a major hurdle, which is the 5% rule. Since 2018, Google has really tightened up this program, so it functions a lot less like free money and more like a managed account. Your account has to maintain a click-through rate of at least 5% every single month. If you drop below that 5% threshold for 2 consecutive months, your account actually gets temporarily suspended. To put that 5% hurdle into perspective for you, the average paid Google Ads account in the nonprofit sector only hovers around a 4.4% click-through rate. Yeah, that means Google is literally requiring grant recipients to beat the industry standard for paying customers. You absolutely have to actively manage this grant to keep it. And honestly, the 5% rule isn't the only hurdle here. You are strictly restricted from bidding on generic single-word keywords, so no, you can't just bid on the word charity. You must also track meaningful conversions. Just looking at a simple page view doesn't cut it anymore. You need to track actual donations, email signups, or volunteer registrations. On top of that, your account structure needs a minimum of 2 ad groups per campaign, and you are required to use conversion-based smart bidding instead of the manual defaults. Basically, Google wants to see active, high-quality management. All right, time for Section 5, the free money reality check. Okay, we need to look at some slightly harsh, data-driven truths about treating this grant like a magic wand. Despite having a massive $10,000 monthly budget available to them, the staggering reality is that the average ad grants account uses just $300 of its allowance. Think about that for a second. Thousands of dollars are just being left on the table every single month by charities who simply aren't optimizing their accounts.
So why does this massive drop-off occur? Well, it usually boils down to three things. First, charities target tiny geographic areas with very low search volume, so there just aren't enough clicks to be had. Second, they have really thin website content, which limits the relevant keywords they can actually bid on. But the biggest reason by far is treating the grant like a switch you just flip and forget. If nobody logs in to manage the account, pause those low-performing keywords, and adjust the strategies, the account simply decays and basically chokes itself off.
To really succeed here, you have to view the grant as a managed budget for warm traffic. Google Ads is brilliant for capturing high-intent searchers, people actively typing in "donate to homeless shelter." But what about the people who don't even know your charity exists yet? Well, the ideal digital funnel pairs your ad grants with affiliate marketing. Affiliates, content publishers, and influencers introduce your cause to brand new audiences who weren't actively searching for you, while ad grants captures those who already know what they want to support. Put them together, and they create a completely optimized funnel. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 6, expanding your digital toolkit. Now, Google Ad Grants might get all the headlines, but it's really just one piece of a massive free tech ecosystem available to charities. Once you verify your charity through platforms like Goodstack or TechSoup UK, you instantly open the door to some incredible enterprise tools. We're talking free Google Workspace for your whole team, free Canva Pro for up to 50 users to design your marketing materials, and heavily discounted Microsoft 365 licenses. Getting verified for the ad grant essentially acts as a master key. It unlocks a whole suite of premium software that your charity can use to scale its operations at a fraction of the cost. The tools are out there. It's really just a matter of reaching out and properly managing them. So knowing that roughly £90,000 a year in advertising budget alongside an absolute arsenal of powerful free tools is just sitting there waiting to be claimed, what's your next move? Are you going to keep staring at tiny marketing budgets, or will you take the initiative, get verified, and finally stop leaving money on the table?